Alright guys, how's it going? I am working on mounting new seats in my Humvee. This is try number 2. The first time I tried to do a suspension mount, which you can see way up there. And you live and you learn, but suspension mounts do not work very well in Humvees because it's so tight in the driver's compartment. There's nowhere for the seat to really suspend. Especially if it's going to be an aftermarket seat. So I'll show you these seats a little more in a second. I forgot the name of them actually, but I'll put a info in the description. But yeah, I'm working on mounting these seats. It should be much improved from the factory high back seat. I'm just using the stock mount, so excuse me. This is any of the newer Humvees, A2 trucks. This will come out, or you'll have this for your seat mount, and it works great. So with little modification, I should be able to get this seat in here and make it work. So for these two back holes, this is, by the way, the plate that was normally, it would be mounted to that. So I just took that off and fitting it up to the aftermarket seat here. But these two back holes were already existing. They were very close to working. So it's thundering outside. It's coming down. But my best bet for that was to just simply round these out a little bit and use a bigger washer, and I'm able to make that just work. So I don't know. It's maybe not the best quality of, best way of doing it, but it works, and I'm not too worried about it. These front holes in the seat that are already existing, there's no hole to be seen. So I'm going to figure out how to do that. I might do CAD, cardboard aided design, haha, or find a way to jam a little marker under there or something and mark it. But I'll cut back to when I got that figured out. So I elected to go the cardboard route. Basically what I did is just laid this on here, poked holes where the holes are in the seat, and now I'm going to go ahead and take my mount here. It goes this way. And I'm going to lay my cardboard, which it actually doesn't fit in here, but you know what, I'll just flip it upside down. So I'm going to place this in here and mark the holes accordingly in the front, and then go ahead and drill it. Alright, got the thing all mounted up on there. Looks pretty nice if I do say so myself. Yeah, I know these are Corbeaus. Can't remember the model number, but I've already had this in the Humvee. Like I said, I tried that mount, the suspension mount. Then in order to do that, I hacked up the factory mount, and then I had to buy a new, and it's a big long thing, but I do know they fit. So we're gonna see though, hopefully it will fit with the stock non-hacked up mount. I think it probably will, but it does shift it over a little bit to the passenger side. So I don't know if that would be an issue or not. Hopefully not. These seats really don't have a whole lot wider dimensions than the factory seats, but they are a lot taller because you have something for your headrest. So I'm gonna try and throw this in the Humvee and see what happens. All right, guys, check it out. Got it in the Humvee. It actually worked out really nice. I'm glad it shifted it over to the right, like I was saying, because this does hit. So I mean, I guess it didn't work out perfect, but it's not in there so bad that I can't go all the way back to where I'm hitting this crossbar, which was the max distance that the factory seat could go back. So it fits in there great. I mean, there's no clearance issues with the seat belt. It all still works. No clearance issues with the head. No issues on the side. No issues on this side, even with the door closed here. Well, that's super dark, but you'll have to take my word from it. I mean, there's a mile of space in between there. And then what's really cool about this seat is it actually reclines. So let me get in here. Try and position this camera as good as I can. So as far as I can tell, I have the full range of motion. The crazy thing is, this feels like it goes back farther than the factory high back seat. Because I mean, I can just about straighten out my right leg, and I'm 6 feet tall. And my left, if I just put it up on the firewall a little higher, I can straighten that out as well. So that's pretty, I know for a fact, and I'm almost positive the factory seats, I couldn't do that. So I've got it about as low as it will go right now, I think. And it does hit, I don't think the mount, well, you know what? I think the mount, if anything, it could only go maybe an inch lower, because the seat is hitting a little bit, which might be preventing it from going a little lower. But, you know, unless you're obscenely tall, that probably doesn't matter, because I got freaking half a foot of headroom right now. So I actually prefer to drive it up a little bit higher, especially if I'm off-road. I'm going to do that. Something more like this, and that gives me even more legroom. In fact, when I have it like that, I can go straight legs on my right and my left. So that's really nice. And I think actually that should allow me to go back a little more even. Yeah, I was able to go back probably half an inch there. And then what's really nice about this is I can lean back. I was messing with this before I started filming. I can lean back like a ridiculous amount. So, I mean, believe it or not, sometimes when I'm on road trips, and if you're weird like me, you will road trip your Humvee every once in a while. Maybe I wouldn't go back this far, but sometimes I get close and I just hold the steering wheel. I mean, maybe it's a little unsafe, but this is coming from a guy who used to basically do the same thing on motorcycles. And I'd lean back like this and just keep the bike straight, you know, eat a burger or something, whatever. So I'm really happy with how far that can lean back. That is awesome. I mean, it's farther than you, or at least the average person, would ever want to go. So all in all, I'm super happy with this seat. Admittedly, I did get this idea off of Cobra Tech. They have they sell seats on the website, but on their website it was sold out. So I tried to reach out to my guy at Cobra Tech. I don't know if he wants me telling everybody his name, but the guy who owns Cobra Tech, I know him. I tried to reach out, and I just didn't hear back. So sorry about that, dude. But you know, I wanted to get a new seat in this thing, and this is what I bought. I have not done the passenger side, but the passenger side is really easy. Literally all you have to do is take off that battery cover plate that they have and flip the seat over, or I guess you got to do the cardboard aided design again, but you know, make a template, mark where you want to drill the holes, and maybe do a test fit before you drill, make sure it's in there right, and then drill the holes and bolt it up. So that couldn't be easier. It's just a fixed position. I'm not going to bother with that in this video. I think you guys can figure it out. All right, I said I wasn't going to show mounting the passenger seat in this video, but I figured what the heck, it should be pretty easy. So here's a really good comparison of the two seats. This one looks massive on camera compared to that, but if you go and measure the actual dimensions, you know, the biggest changes are the height and also the length of the bottom pad, which from that view, it doesn't look that much bigger. So, I mean, I think the picture speaks for itself here. That is obviously a whole lot more comfortable. But I think what I'm going to do is start by just marking where the sides of the seat go. I'm not too worried about the front, but I'm going to mark the sides as best as I can with a paint marker. Excuse me. And also the back. And I'm going to kind of mock this one up and try and copy those dimensions. My primary concern really is getting this seat too far over that way and then having this hit the transmission tunnel and not be able to, you know, work or go on, mount it like it should, because there's clearance issues. So I'm gonna play around with this a little bit, maybe do a couple test fits and just see how it goes. All right, went ahead and popped the seat off of here. So the interesting thing is this seat actually has studs, and then that goes down into these holes on this plate here. So I didn't know that, or I guess I knew at one point because I have taken these off, but I forgot about that. But that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just set this thing on here and see what the dimensions look like in comparison. All right, so I'm just doing a little test fit in the Humvee here, and you know, the interesting thing is this side is super comfortable. I don't know what it is, but I'm able to get this in here in a way where you had way more room than the factory seat even had. So I did ever so slightly, it is rotated to the right, and that's just because, you know, this point is contacting, and there's just not a whole lot you can do. I could rotate it back more that way and then have it touching up here. In fact, it is touching right now actually, but have it touching even more. I don't really want to do that. This should come out a little bit where there's basically no clearance. So I might put a little strip of protective rubber right here so it doesn't cut into the vinyl. In fact, I think I'll do that for sure. But the funny thing is, it actually is more comfortable when it's rotated a little bit to the right, because this transmission tunnel comes out. So normally when the seat is straight, like the factory configuration, it is pushing your leg over, and it's not the worst thing ever, but it is pretty uncomfortable. So rotating to right allows your legs to just go over to the right a little bit, and I think that's actually better. And it's not really enough of an angle where you notice it just looking at it. You know, it's not aesthetically unpleasing. So I think I'm going to do this. I could probably get away with going even a little further, because it gets that away from the transmission tunnel and it gets this away from this B-pillar piece here. So I forgot to mention, I've got Corbeau seats in my Jeep as well, and I've been running these suckers for multiple years now, and they've held up really great to everything I do off-road and whatnot. So love these seats. Not sponsored, but I really think these are the way to go for off-road seats. They're a little expensive, but I think it's worth the cost. So I'm going to try something a little different to figure out where to drill these holes. I'm going to take my paint pen and soak all these bolts down with as much, you know, wet paint as possible. And then I'm just going to set that plate on the ground and try and set the seat exactly where I think I want it on the plate. And it should leave 4 dots as to where I need to drill. So we'll see how this goes. All right, that kind of worked. I think what I'm actually going to do is there seems to be enough space under here where I can just reach under with the paint pen and mark it that way. So we're going to try that instead. I got to editing this video and realized I completely forgot to close it out. And I pretty much just stopped filming after that last clip for some reason. I guess I spaced, but I did get it in here. It was a bit of a process, not my best work. A lot of wallowing stuff out and big washers and stuff, but you know, you're never gonna see that unless you take off this battery tray, so whatever. But yep, got it in here, flip the camera. It looks nice, it fits nice. This is like, oops, sorry, my hand's in the way. This is like the most comfortable part of the Humvee by far. I mean, if I was riding in here, I would literally fall asleep. You gotta wear earbuds, you know, drown out the sound, maybe put on a little music, a little YouTube documentary. But I never thought I would say this, but this seat in the Humvee is so comfortable. Far more comfortable than the driver's seat for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but I guess just a little bit more space because you don't have the pedals there. But anyway, that's it, guys. I'm not doing the back seats, maybe in a future video. I'm not running back seats right now because it's just me and my wife hardly ever rides in this thing anyway, and my kid is way too young to ride in a Humvee. So thank you very much for following the channel. Hope you can like and subscribe. I appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next one.